Hi there, my name's Lynn Sanford, camp name Palatino, and I'm the administrator of Diablo Day Camp. I'm a volunteer, and along with everyone else at camp who volunteers their time, I want to say thank you. And I want to introduce our COVID safety plan. I'm going to share my screen and walk you through our Diablo Day Camp COVID safety plan. Safety is our top priority, and we will continue to put the health and safety of our campers and volunteers first. The Diablo Day Camp Committee formed a COVID task force, which has been meeting weekly to discuss these issues and research the Center for Disease Control guidelines, the California Department of Public Health guidelines, the Contra Costa County Health Department of Health guidelines, Girl Scouts of Northern California. We've looked at a lot of resources to make our COVID safety plan. And the COVID safety plan supports our belief that we can run camp safely. When conditions change, the COVID safety plan will change. It's a fluid document, so we will be updating it as we can. So that said, we are ready to welcome campers, elves, adult volunteers, and their sons to camp in June and July. We are very excited to be able to have camp this year since we had to cancel last year. So as your administrator, I'm the main COVID liaison assigned to support the health and wellness at the site. And we are only operating at Camp Twin Canyon this summer. We weren't able to secure the Little Hills location. There's no one out there right now, so we're not able to have camp there. But so I'm the main COVID liaison. Each session will have a COVID liaison for that session, who's basically assigned to support the session and be a communicator between me and the session directors, and the session families too. So we do have communication plans in place. We are advertising this COVID safety plan on our website. We will be sending out a link to all our camp participants. Once it's finalized, we are still filling in a few more session liaison names, but other than that, the COVID safety plan is pretty much set and ready to go. We will have a lot of pre-camp communication with our camp community to let people know what's going on, what the expectations are. People are going to be required to complete a COVID waiver, saying that they understand that there are risks of attending any group gathering. And then we will also be asking people to do a daily self-check-in. And then during camp, if needed, we'll keep in communication if we have reported cases. So one of the things that's very different this year at camp is our unit sizes. Typically, we have 20 to 24 campers in a unit with 2 or 3 elves and 2 or 3 adults. Our units are going to be much smaller. So we're going to only have up to 12 campers, 2 elves, and 2 adults. And for those of you who don't know what elves are our teenage helpers, and they are amazing. They work so hard bringing the sparkle to camp. Our younger units, our 2nd and 3rd grade units, will only have 10 campers per unit. So we're trying to keep those stable groups very small. We're looking at our schedules so that we're minimizing contact between the units, and we're trying to minimize the amount of adults who work with more than one unit. And again, these are all the California Department of Public Health guidelines for running a safe day camp. We are going to be requiring that everyone at camp wears a face covering. We prefer a cloth mask. Gaiters and bandanas are discouraged. They don't do as good a job blocking the COVID virus from transmitting. If we have individuals who cannot wear a mask for medical reasons, they can apply for an exemption. And then our volunteers will remind campers and assist them to wear their masks properly. And we'll have signage throughout camp reminding everyone of the 3 W's: wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. So watching your distance, we are going to follow the current CDC and California Department of Public Health guidelines, trying to space people 3 to 6 feet apart where feasible. And one of the ideas that the COVID task force came up with was using hula hoops to help, especially the younger campers, be more aware of their surroundings and aware of how much space they have between themselves and others. So that's going to actually be a fun aspect of camp, because they'll be able to take their hula hoops from camp opening up into their unit, from their unit to whatever camp activities they're going to, and help maintain that distancing. Hand washing, we're following the current guidelines for hand washing. Pretty simple. Get your hands wet, put the soap on, rub, rub, rub for 20 seconds. You can sing the happy birthday song twice, 3 times if you're a fast birthday singer, and then rinse, 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 and dry with a paper towel. We are discouraging the use of bandanas for drying this year. We want fresh paper towels each time. And when hand washing is not feasible, we're going to be using sanitizing gel, and with the mantra gel in, gel out. So anytime campers are going anywhere, they're going to gel into camp right out of the car. We're going to give them a squirt of gel to rub, rub, rub. And any activities, we're going to ask them to gel in and gel out. We always do regular cleaning, and this year will just be a little more intense. So we have daily cleaning as always, emptying the trash, recycling, checking paper towels and soap dispensers, cleaning anything that's soiled. And then if we do have a positive case, then we get out the really heavy duty cleaners. We wait 24 hours for safety reasons, and then we will be cleaning following the CDC recommended guidelines. We are going to ask everyone to do a pre-camp screening, and that's a daily online symptom check before coming to camp. And we're basically asking if you've had exposure to anyone who has a confirmed COVID-19 diagnosis, or any symptoms for illness. Whether it's COVID or not, you need to stay home when you're sick. And we do have a plan for if someone does become sick. We want people to become familiar with COVID-19 guidelines, and if people feel sick, we want them to stay home. And signs and symptoms: 100-degree fever or more, cough, runny nose, sore throat, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, loss of taste or smell. And if someone does become ill, we have a plan. The unit leader will let the session first aider know, the session COVID-19 liaison, and the person will be escorted to an isolation area where the first aider will check their health and do an assessment and decide what the course of action needs to be. And if they need to be sent home, we'll call the parent or guardian. Obviously, if they need medical attention, we'll call 911, but hopefully no one will be that ill. But they'll remain in the isolation area being monitored by an adult until they can go home. And then if COVID-19 is suspected, we'll ask that they get a test. And their participants are able to return to camp if they've been symptom-free for 24 hours. And again, if COVID is suspected, we ask them to get a test. If there's a confirmed reported case, then we will be contacting the Contra Costa County Public Health Department, Girl Scouts of Northern California, and of course our participants. And we'll clean a lot. Clean, clean, clean. Okay. Part of our COVID safety plan includes staff training. The COVID task force is working on specific staff protocols for every aspect of camp throughout the day that will clearly outline what staff are expected to do and exactly how they're going to do that. And those plans will be posted on our website as they're completed. Okay. The arrival procedure, this is important for our new, well, all of our volunteers to understand. We are going to be requiring a daily online symptom check, and the liaison or the session director will download the report every morning. So it's very important that you complete the symptom check online before the deadline. So you got to get up early, take your temperature, make sure you're healthy enough to come to camp, and go online and tell us that. And then if when we do check in, a volunteer will verify that the participants have completed the online check-in. If not, we'll have a paper form that the parent or guardian, the driver, will need to complete. Carpooling is discouraged this year. Girl Scouts of Northern California has said no carpooling, just your own family. So, and we strongly suggest the same person drive every day for drop off, pick up, because then they're familiar and there's a limited contact. Okay. Then our volunteers will use a nose touch thermal scan thermometer to take each participant's temperature, and people with a temperature over 100.4 degrees will not be allowed to come to camp. Our volunteers, our adults, our elves, everyone will follow the same check-in and temperature check when they get here. And then again, gel in, get a little squirt of hand sanitizer, and go to the meadow for our flag up ceremony. And this is especially important this year. Parents and guardians are not allowed at camp other than to drop off and pick up campers. So our morning assembly is going to look a little different this year because we're going to have hula hoops spaced out throughout the meadow. Campers will be spaced out as much as possible. We're working on the specifics of how we can safely perform our flag ceremony, and we're looking at every aspect of camp. We'll have a fire drill within the first 24 hours, as we always do. We'll have the campers bring their hula hoops down to the meadow. That's our rallying point for any kind of fire drill or emergency. Moving around camp, we're lucky that most of camp is outdoors anyway. We do have a few hot spots, especially our biffies, the buildings. We're going to have one-way traffic. Both the Brownie Biffy and the Junior Biffy have a door at each end. So one door will be the indoor, the other door will be the outdoor, maintaining that 6 feet of distance whenever possible. We have general guidelines for all of our camp activities. Again, those small, stable groups, participants will wash their hands between activities. When they can't wash, they'll gel in, gel out. Physical distancing maintained between the campers and also with staff who are giving instructions or directions. Everyone will wear a mask except when eating or drinking. Whenever possible, we will not share equipment, but if we do have to share equipment, it will be cleaned between use by different participants. And again, cleaning, anything non-porous, tables, countertops, etc. And then we have guidelines for each specific activity. Crafts, if possible, we will do them outside. Sometimes that's not possible. Little things blow away. So if we have to conduct activities indoors, we're going to try to limit the groups, smaller groups, and maintain that distancing. Hiking, this is true anyway. We do more strenuous hikes in the morning when it's cooler. And then we have an archery expert on our COVID task force who has researched the USA archery guidelines that we will be following. Units in their unit time, they're going to follow the general guidelines. We talked about having a paper bag to keep a mask in while you're eating or drinking. That way, each person has a safe, clean place to keep their mask while it's not in use. And then we talked about hand washing already. And the campers are encouraged to bring their own water bottles. A wide mouth type is preferred so it can be easily refilled. And then an adult or an elf will be supervising the refilling of the water bottles. Swaps is a great camp tradition that we worked long and hard. We had many, many discussions on the COVID task force about how to be able to safely swap, because the whole point of a swap is that you trade it with someone else. If you don't know what swaps are, they're special whatchamacallits affectionately pinned somewhere. And they're really little mementos of camp. And usually a unit comes up with an idea, a design, and then you make 10 or 15 of the same design. And then you try to find someone in a different unit and trade so that at the end of the camp, you end up with 10 or 15 different swaps. And so we just want parents to be aware that because this usually happens on Friday, but these swaps are going to be touched by many, many people. So we want you to be aware of that, and you can make your own decision about whether you want to isolate them or you want to try to spray them with a disinfectant spray, and how you would handle that, knowing that a lot of people have touched them. We are still not able to cook. The Girl Scouts of Northern California guidelines are that we are not allowed to cook, but that could be changing. So again, camp is 8 weeks away, so we'll see what happens in the next week, 8 weeks. But if we are allowed to cook, it will be limited to individual things like a foil wrap, okay? And any snacks that are supplied will be individually wrapped. And any shared food which is served would be served by an adult who's wearing gloves using serving tools. So nobody's touching anybody's food, and then the serving tools aren't touching plates and things. At camp dismissal, after we do flag down, this is going to look a little different than usual. We do go down the line, checking ID, asking for pickup coupons, but the campers are going to stay in the meadow instead of gathering over at the parking area all together. We're going to try to keep them spread out and use the PA system to call them to their car. So we do look forward to having camp this year. We so look forward to having camp this year. This plan is going to be updated as new information becomes available, right? We're following the guidelines from the CDC, the California Department of Public Health, and Girl Scouts in Northern California. Those are our biggest sources of information. So we thank you for your patience and understanding. Things are going to change. We know that they're going to change. We don't know what direction they're going to change, but we are committed to offering a fun and safe camp for everyone. Yep. So thank you so much. Oh, I have some resources that are at the bottom of the plan. So the plan will be posted on our website. And again, it's going to be updated as conditions change. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm back here with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to volunteer at camp if you're a volunteer, or to look at our COVID safety plan. If you are just curious camp community member, we're happy to have you, happy to have your campers at camp, and we're excited. Thanks. Bye-bye.